please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Hi, welcome back. You're still watching Bazaar Morning Call. Well, this morning looks like the SGX Nifty, at least for now, is slightly subdued. We, of course, have been in a trading range, so let's see how that progresses. But for now, let's give you the list of stocks you need to watch out for as we head into trade this morning. Let's get our entire team on board. Anuj, what would you be looking at today?
So, Sonia, first of all, I'm repeating a stock from yesterday, but rarely do that. But NIIT Tech, strongest stock and strongest sector. Yesterday also was up about 3.5%. And you know, it's got tailwind now. IT sector is doing remarkably well, within 1.3% of lifetime high. And this is a lesson for perhaps this year's investment. NIIT Tech also corrected 20% when the market went through that brutal correction. And it's required just 2 weeks for it to gain back that correction. So this year also you'll make money, but the leaders might be different this year. So that's one area you have to focus on. The other set of stocks which we'll focus on is entire fertilizer stocks, especially the PSU ones, the likes of RCF, FACT, and a couple of others like Zuari, etc. Because there's a report that Urea subsidy will be extended till 2020. There's cabinet meet, of course. Okay, the cabinet has approved, I think, this one. So yes, that I think would be an interesting one to track in today's trade. And my base case is that today, unless you start to see collapse of the Asian market, which is actually not happening right now, today could be a good day for the market, especially in the second half.
Okay, well, I just want to take the contra view on banks and I reiterate what we flashed just a little while ago. Yesterday the banks rallied, and look at the rally actually. Oriental Bank of Commerce 6%, Syndicates 5%, Union 5%, Andhra 5%, and of course ICICI Axis and SBI up about 0.5% to 1%. But the expectation was that you're going to get some forbearance from the Reserve Bank on MTM losses on bonds. That rumor was very much there in the markets. And another part of the rumor was that on the Feb 12th circular, that you will get some relief. My sources tell me IB has not even yet written. They're going to write to the market, to the regulator, pointing out this. And secondly, the speech from the governor clearly indicating that he is on the war path in terms of cleaning up balance sheets, and he doesn't mind being treated as, the flogging, doesn't mind the Reserve Bank being flogged for it, but you just have to go through and take out the poison, as he calls it, and we don't mind swallowing it, swallowing all the brickbats is his point. He's even called out for industry organizations to support what he says is a worthwhile cause that the Reserve Bank is fighting. Yeah. Both of them indicating that forbearance is not coming, and therefore if that was the reason for the rally, then today that cannot continue.
Okay. By the way, for some of our young viewers who don't perhaps know Neelkant, why is Neelkant? Because when you had
Shiva
had to take that poison because when you were churning the sea, the poison came out first. Someone had to drink it, so it was Shiva, and that's why
he has a blue throat.
He has a blue throat, of course. But let's move on. Rima, why are you watching out for Wipro?
Hi Anuj, good morning. The news is that Wipro has divested its hosted data center business to a US-based company for $405 million. On the whole, this deal is positive for Wipro because, for one, the data center business is getting disrupted by cloud technology. So it is an ailing business. While the company has not officially declared what the revenues and margins it makes from the data center business, Morgan Stanley estimates that the revenues could be $241 million in FY17, which is about 3% of the overall revenues. But the margins, most of the broker analysts believe, would be in single digits, which means lower than the margins of the IT services business. So divesting the data center will be an EPS as well as a marginally EPS and marginally margin accretive business deal for Wipro. Kotak is also enthused by the deal value because they say it's done at a PE of 26 times according to their estimates, which is great for a business which is getting disrupted. Back to you.
Okay, Rima, thanks a lot for that. So we'll keep our eye out on Wipro. In any case, the technology stocks have been doing very well. Ritu Singh joins us now to give us the latest that's happening with Binani Cement. Hi Ritu, good morning.
Hi Sonia, good morning. Well, Binani Cement is one case where there have been several twists and turns, but as of yesterday, the Committee of Creditors has finally voted in favor. The majority of the creditors, that is, have voted in favor of Dalmia's consortium to take over Binani Cement for their offer of 6,350 crores plus an additional 400 crores capital infusion that the consortium will be making into the company. Now, remember, just last week, UltraTech had hiked its bid for Binani Cement by 700 crore rupees. But given the fact that this hike is coming after the bid process was closed, after the deadline had ended, bankers have chosen not to entertain this, even as this case is ongoing in NCLT, where Binani promoters have sought to be made part of the resolution process and to have a say in who the final bidder will be. But of course, now the final say rests with NCLT, that will decide, how to treat these bids, whether to accept the resolution plan or to indeed give the promoters of Binani Cement a role in this, which could, turn the tide against perhaps either of the bidders that have come up so far, because the company is arguing that the valuation offered by the IRP is much lower than the actual value of the company.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Ritu Singh. We will have to wait and see. Really, this news is known that UltraTech is challenging the whole process. One has to first see whether that will be admitted, but that's a strong bid coming in from UltraTech. Anisha Havels, it's in the news.
Well, yes, the company has signed an MOU with Hyundai Electric, wherein Hyundai Electric will be giving them the technological know-how, and Havels will be manufacturing and distributing the magnetic contactors. Now, simply put, magnetic contactors are a part of the industrial switchgear portfolio of the company. They see the market size at around 1,200 odd crores and suggest that they're targeting a market share of 8% over the next 3 years. But the sense is actually, Lata, that this is not very big for the company, because it can add around 40 to 50 crores on the company's top line of around 6,500 odd crores. So maybe a bit of green tick on the stock, but not a very big sentiment positive as well. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. It's important that you mentioned that it's not such a big deal for Havels, but we'll keep our eye out on that story. But let's talk about some of the FMCG stocks, because a very interesting note has come out from Goldman Sachs, where they have gone ahead and upgraded Jubilant Foodworks, and they've also changed their view on a couple of other stocks. Mangalam is here to tell us more. Mangalam?
That's right, Sonia. You spoke about the word interesting, and that is what it is, because they forecast rural income to grow at 8.5% compounding over the next 5 years. And this is important because FMCG volume growth directly correlates with rural income growth more than any other variable that one may look at, monsoons, etc., anything. It's rural income growth that really correlates with the FMCG volume growth. So this is an important number. Secondly, they believe that this rural income growth would lead to growth in consumer discretionary rather than non-discretionary. So it would bode well for packaged food and beverages as against oil and soap. So they have Britannia, which they've added to the conviction list. Jubilant Food is a buy, and they've downgraded Marico and HUL to sell.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So food stocks, food for thought there. Sonia, M&M, why?
Well, they had an investor meet in Chennai yesterday, and they're really going big in the electric vehicle space. So they've laid out their plans for the next 2 years. Quickly, I just want to highlight, in terms of product launches, they have 2 new product launches in the passenger vehicle segment this year. They will have 3 full model changes by 2020, and they have a 600 crore investment that they've planned in the heavy commercial vehicles as well as the light commercial vehicle segment. So in that space, the commercial vehicle segment space also, they are doing, a lot of investments. But the big capacity expansion plans are in the electric vehicle segment. They said by September 2018, they will have a phase 2 of electric vehicles, which will have 12,000 units of production per annum, and then phase 3 and phase 4 henceforth. So they're going big in terms of, commercial vehicles as well as electric vehicles.
Okay, so that's Mahindra and Mahindra. But Abhishek, interesting, some NBFCs, which are mutual fund companies as well, could be impacted today?
Well, Anuj, newspaper reports suggest that investing in mutual fund for equity investors can get cheaper, but this can be negative for the mutual fund companies, because SEBI may ask mutual funds to lower their expense fees that they charge to the investors. SEBI may ask the fee which is charged at 20 basis point to be reduced to 5 basis point. This is on the every scheme that an investor pays. Currently on equity products, an investor pays about 2.25% as an overall fee, while in equity linked product they end up paying 2.5%. CNBC TV18 has not verified this report independently, but few companies like Reliance AMC, ICICI, HDFC, Aditya Birla could be under pressure today.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much for putting that on the table, Abhishek. Sonal, first fertilizer stocks, now urea subsidy is in.
Yeah, well, I'll just add on to what Anuj already mentioned. Fertilizer stocks will be in focus today because the government has approved extension of the subsidy scheme to 2020. Not only that, they've also approved the direct benefit transfer scheme. Now, what it will do is that it will allow the availability of urea at statutory control prices to farmers. But what is the importance of direct benefit transfer scheme is that it will ensure 100% payment to fertilizer manufacturers. So that is important for the likes of Zuari Agro or Madras Fertilizers. The stock already have seen some surge in last few days, but they will be in focus today as well. And some other stocks that I have in news is Welspun Enterprises. Well, there's some bad news for the company as they had emerged as the lowest bidder for one of the NHAI projects, but now the project has been annulled and NHAI is requesting for new proposals for the same project. So expect a bit of red on the stock. Himadri Specialty Chemicals will also be in focus today because they were yesterday the government of India has imposed anti-dumping duty on SNF, and SNF is something that Himadri Specialty Chemicals produces, and 13% of the revenues come from that. Another thing is that the company will be investing 1,000 crore rupees for one of the carbon black plants in West Bengal, and so the stock will be in focus today as well. Another is there are reports that BMC might increase FSI to 4 and 6 from current 1, which will increase the redevelopment capacity of different real estate players in Mumbai. So the likes of HDIL and Urea Realty will be in focus today.
All right, Sonal, thanks a lot for that. So we have many stocks that we've covered in our top 10 list. I guess it's top 20 for today. Here's a quick recap then. Stocks expected to gain: NIIT Tech, RCF, FACT, Wipro, Havels, Britannia, Jubilant Food, Himadri Specialty Chemicals, HDIL and Oberoi Realty. While stocks that could be under pressure this morning, some of the banking names: SBI, BOB, ICICI Bank, Axis, the PSU Bank Index, Dalmia Bharat, HUL, Marico, Reliance AMC, HDFC, Aditya Birla Capital and Welspun Enterprises.
Nifty has cut its losses. 10,405 is where it could start. Look at that actually. A big move. Of course, you can't trade SGX Nifty. You have to trade the Indian market. So how should you do that? Ashwini Gujral, Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar now join us. Good morning, gentlemen. Ashwini, what's the trade this morning? Do you think if there's any kind of weakness that should be bought into, or do you have a different trade?
Well, good morning. See, basically the Nifty is at boundaries, and yesterday we hit the lower boundary and I came back strongly. Now you just can't buy any 20-point dip and hope that you'll get a similar rally. That boundary is 10,360 to about 10,460. These are Nifty futures levels. If we get to any of them, I think only then there's a trade. I believe today that range is likely to get narrower. So chances are you may not hit any of the boundaries. So that way today could be a bit more lackluster than yesterday, and the market bets etc. will be even Steven types. And on the bank Nifty, I think that range is also fairly clearly defined. At lower levels we are getting support at 24,650, and at higher levels 25,050 thereabouts acts as strong resistance. So unless you get to any of those levels for the next few days, we could be in this 100-odd point range.
Okay. Good morning, Ashwini. I admit that yesterday we already knew the bipole results before end of trading day. But you do have some, fairly anti-globalization or pro-trade tariff guy, Larry Kudlow, joining the Trump administration. As well, some of the reasons why the banking stocks ran up are probably now found to be not yet confirmed at all or untrue. Won't all these reasons be, strong enough to give the bears some fodder?
You think Trump listens to anybody? Having said that, bipole, etc., I was there in 2003 when BJP won Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and lost only Delhi, and it was, they are going to come back. It's not so simple. These one or two bipoles can go here or there. I don't think any of these events will likely make a difference. Tariffs, etc., are getting priced in. So each time there's a confirmation, I don't think the market reacts. And that's why Asia has come back. But the problem here is that if we don't start at the boundaries, we start at the middle of the range, then it becomes difficult to trade. So there's no new information. All of this is kind of known. Bipoles were known yesterday.
Okay, let's get Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar also on board. Sudarshan, hi, good morning. For me, it seems to be a bit of a confusing trend that this market is showcasing, one up day, one down day, even intraday so much volatility. But what have you made of it and what should the strategy be now?
Yeah, good morning, Sonia. See, the markets are in a trading range. Therefore, inside a range, a lot of volatility comes about and we get the sense of friction, a sense of movement. But really, it's only 70 or 80 points up and down inside that range. And that happens when the markets are a little confused. The trading range develops because of that confusion. To me, it seems that after a 4-day rally, the markets do seem to be heading into resistance and a decline is the most likely scenario in the next few days. I explained yesterday and I'm repeating it, this decline will not be straight line, it's going to be very jagged, which means we'll see big sharp rallies and then declines, eventually leading to 10,300 and now I think maybe 10,200. So the trade is to buy Nifty put options of 10,400 strike, hold it, and just that value of 100 rupees is your stop loss. So I'm little mildly bearish on the market, but expecting a lot of volatility as we go down.
Okay. All right. And Mitesh, good morning. In which camp are you now? Would you take a long trade at this juncture or not?
Yeah, good morning, Lata. So I think for me, it remains a bounce back, which has kind of got stuck in range. I think Ashwini was talking about edges. I would look at 10,350, 10,500 as the broad range, give and take 10 points, 20 points. And I think, we'll trade if short if the range breaks on the downside. Else, I think, we possibly will go through this choppy pullback. If we start getting past 10,500 to 520 levels, then another 70, 80 points on the upside could happen. But I'm not convinced that this is start of a new trend on the upside. So in that sense, mildly bearish, but this is not the exact time to start initiating short calls. Once we start breaking below 10,350, that will be a good idea to go short then.
Okay, let's discuss stocks then. Ashwini, is it all buys or are you including buys and sells?
See, buys and sells, although they don't reflect the bias of the market, which is sideways. So I think techs, even if they gap down, they could have recovery. So NIIT Tech is a buy with a stop of 925, target of 950, almost at all-time high. So if that is taken out, you could have sharper rallies. Yesterday, media companies did very well. TV today, after being range bound for a long time, that's broken out. That's a buy with a stop of 528, target of 550. Tech Mahindra is a buy with a stop of 634, target of 660. Tata Steel, meanwhile, is a sell with a stop of 626, target of 600. And ONGC is a sell with a stop of 185, target of 170.
Okay, well, Sudarshan, what about you? What's on your buy and sell list this morning?
Well, I have a little more sells than buying. There's a slight mild bearish bias. Maybe it's because of the bipoles. Having been a supporter of the party and see it lose probably has put me in a little pessimistic mode. Maybe. But Divi's Lab, all right. Divi's Lab is a buying opportunity. Let's start with optimism first.
Okay.
The stock is already in a rally and there is a small pause in that rally and that rally should now continue on the upside. So that's a buy. It's not only a day trade, you can actually build a position in Divi's Lab. It's worth taking on a buy there. The second buy is Godrej Industries. It's a buy on dips. There was a big sharp decline. A trading range has developed and after that decline, that range is suggesting a breakout on the upside. There's larger risk because the trend is changing here. But even this trend change is worth taking. Again, a positional trade is justified. 3 short sells only intraday. Kajaria Ceramics is getting down every day, falling regularly. Something is going on there, but that's a trade on the short side. Max Financial, if you see the chart, every day like Kajaria, it keeps on coming down day after day. You can go short in it for the day. And the third short is CESC. After a big decline, it was in a range. That range is breaking on the downside.
Okay, thank you very much. Mitesh, what would be your, you also have a mix of sells and buys, more sells than buys.
Yeah, so I think, very clearly some stocks are breaking down. So it's more of a stock specific approach. I have a sell on Escorts with a stop at 857, look for targets of 815. L&T Finance, couple of indicators have clearly turned negative and that could pull the momentum on the downside. So sell with a stop at 165, look for targets of 156. I will also have a sell on UBL. That's a conditional sell if it breaks the pivot support of 1008. Sell with a stop at 1021. Look for targets of 970. And 2 buy calls, both from the technology side. Tech Mahindra is a buy. Try to buy it around 635, keep a stop at 620, look for targets of 664, and KPIT is a buy. Around 225, 226 would be a good range to enter. Keep a stop below 220 and look for 236 as the target.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think we have to get this huge macro flash that's on your screen. And of course, now it's been doing the buzz for some time now. The United States has challenged multiple trade promotion programs that India has and has been administering for some time. Ritu Parabhiyan is here with details that he has picked up from the Commerce Ministry. Good morning, Ritu. Tell us.
Well, this is the biggest trade dispute that India is carrying at WTO. US has sought consultation with India in the WTO on multiple trade promotion schemes, which includes special economic zones, which includes the electronic hardware technologies scheme, the EOU scheme, and also the merchandise exports from India scheme, the backbone of India's trade policy. US has alleged that Indian companies annually get around $7 billion worth of support, and this harms the interest of U.S. workers and U.S. companies, and hence they have sought consultation. Consultations is actually the first step in the dispute settlement process. The next step will be basically to set up a dispute settlement panel. Now we have to wait and see how India responds to these allegations which the U.S. has made at the WTO.
Okay, Ritu, thanks a lot for that. In fact, we'll be getting you a lot of guests to react to this news flow as well.
We do know that government has imposed anti-dumping duty on some Chinese chemical imports. Among them is a product called SNF, sulfonated naphthalene formaldehyde, and that chemical is something which brings Himadri Chemicals into focus, because this company is going to invest 1,000 crores in the carbon black business. Anurag Chaudhary, CEO of Himadri Chemicals, joins us on the phone line. Anurag, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Just tell us what this means to you. What kind of an opportunity is it because of this anti-dumping duty imposed on SNF from China?
Yeah, good morning. So the SNF industry was going through a tough phase in India because of large amount of dumping coming in from China. And globally, if you look at the SNF business, the penetration of SNF business in global market is more than 50%. And in India, it is a developing market which is more around less than 10%. So SNF is basically used in ready-mix concrete to increase the strength of RMC and reduce the consumption of cement and increase the fluidity of RMC. We are the market leaders in this segment, and it's a very positive move by the government of India and it helps a lot in Make in India program which the government has initiated.
So Anurag, can you tell us what percentage of your own sales comes from SNF, and now since there is an anti-dumping duty, will you be looking to raise capacities because of perhaps increased demand?
Yeah, I firmly believe the demand is going to increase. We are the market leaders in this segment with 60% plus market share and having a capacity of 68,000 metric tons. So we are the only company which is backward integrated in terms of raw material in this segment. So I definitely think there is a big upward movement in the demand.
From 68,000 metric tons, do you plan to increase your capacity anytime soon?
No, not really.
Okay, no, if you can tell us how much margins go up for you and what will be the revenue advantage as well, or EBITDA advantage?
See, I cannot, predict on in terms of EBITDA margins what will be the impact, but definitely it will be a positive impact on the business. And in terms of revenue also, the capacity utilization of SNF, which was at a considerably lower level, will increase to a great extent.
Okay, how much was it? How much might it be?
It was around 55-60%. It can go around 100%.
Okay, and separately, this carbon black project, when does it come up and what will it do to your revenues?
See, the carbon black project, what we have announced is a 200,000 metric ton specialty black plant, which we are going to set up in a span of 5 years. And this will put Himadri among the top 5 carbon black manufacturers for specialty black in the world. So today this field is dominated by the companies in Western world, particularly US and Germany. So Himadri will be the only company in Asia which will be setting up this big capacity in specialty black.
Okay. Have you added? Have you added any new clients? I mean, you do supply to big players like Hindalco, Apollo Tyres, MRF, etc. But in the recent past, have you added any new clients on board?
Yes, definitely. What we have done, the specialty black, what we are talking of today, is an extensive effort of last 8 years of relentless R&D work. So Himadri's strength is its R&D. We have 14 PhDs in different streams of chemistry and 42 persons working in our R&D. We who have developed this product and the process and technology to make specialty black over a period of 8 years. So now we have been able to commercialize it. In last 1 year, we have introduced 10 new grades of specialty black in the market. Over a period of next 3 years, we plan to introduce 40 new grades of specialty black. This will cater to wide spectrum of industry, right from racing tires, then coming to profile grades, then plastics, carbon fibers, conductive black for wires and cables. So a wide range of applications which caters to different industries.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. Anurag, thank you very much for joining us. So there is an expansion coming and plus the anti-dumping duty expected to benefit this company. Sorry.
It reminds me, I think it was 2 years back, we were doing closing bell and Mr. Tulsian had spoken about this stock. It was 15 rupees at that point on this story, and it's been, of course, a huge multi-bagger. Yes.
Absolutely. Okay, well, it's more about commodities actually. Manisha Gupta is joining in for all the action. Manisha, what is the Kudlow-Trump combo doing to commodities and currencies?
Well, not so good really, because it hasn't clearly stopped at aluminum and steel, and we see more commodities and more decisions coming in from the Trump administration, and the trade war lingers, and that is what is putting a lid on the commodity price rises here. For the metal space especially, that is one thing that has been keeping these prices on the lower side. But on the other side, you also have the Chinese industrial data, retail sales, fixed asset investments. All of that has been quite positive for the Jan and Feb for 2018, and that of course has been a supportive factor. So contradicting fundamentals when you look at metals as a sector. For the crude oil prices, though, you have seen some support come back. The US crude inventories on a weekly basis saw a surge by 5 million barrels. But when you look at the products, gasoline, distillates, etc., have seen a very sharp decline in sense of inventories. And that tells you that the demand really seems to be picking up, and that has been supportive for prices. I think it is going to be about a day-to-day event and economic data. And of course, what we hear from Trump administration is what is going to keep these prices moving. But on a longer term, for second and third quarter, most people still are quite bullish for many of these commodities.